The story of a great British flood begins far away in the sun-soaked waters off Florida. Here, ocean temperatures soar above 26.5 degrees Celsius, fueling the world's most powerful storms. Warm water evaporates, rising as moist vapor, nature's invisible engine for hurricanes. As this air ascends and cools, it forms vast clouds, releasing energy that drives the storm upward. The Earth's spin sets the air swirling, and with the right wind patterns, a storm's structure builds, like a potter shaping clay. In late summer and autumn, these conditions align in the Atlantic. Winds circle a calm eye, and a gentle disturbance intensifies. First a depression, then a storm, and finally, a hurricane. Florida's warm waters keep feeding the storm, making it a self-sustaining giant of wind and rain. This is how the great storms of 2025, which would later drench Britain, were born. They start as sun, water, and the subtle spin of our planet. From these humble beginnings, a hurricane's journey begins, one that will cross oceans and change lives. The seeds of Britain's floods are sown in Florida's heat. The connection is global, and the consequences profound. When a hurricane hits Florida's land, its power fades fast. Cut off from warm ocean fuel, the storm's engine sputters. Winds weaken, the eye fills with clouds, and the organized structure unravels. But even as it loses its tropical identity, the storm still carries immense moisture and energy. Now a post-tropical cyclone, it's swept eastward by the prevailing westerlies, a global conveyor belt for weather. The remnants cross states, then re-emerge over the Atlantic, transformed but not gone. It's now an extra-tropical system, still loaded with tropical moisture. This water vapor, gathered from the Gulf or Florida Straits, is carried across the ocean. The storm is a shadow of its former self, but it's heading for a new encounter. Its journey isn't over, it's waiting for a second act. The Atlantic awaits, and with it, the chance for rebirth. The story of the storm is far from finished. Its next chapter will be written over Europe. High above the Atlantic, the jet stream, a powerful river of wind, shapes the fate of storms. Formed by the clash of cold polar and warm tropical air, it drives weather systems at over 200 miles per hour. The jet stream meanders, creating waves that steer storms across the ocean. If it dips south and then curves northeast, it can sling a storm straight towards the UK. The storm, now powerless, is carried swiftly by this upper atmosphere current. Crossing the Atlantic in days, it's like a boat swept along by a raging river. The jet stream not only steers, but can also help storms maintain their structure. This atmospheric river links North America's weather to Europe's fate. What begins in Florida rarely stays there. The jet stream is the invisible bridge that delivers storms to Britain's doorstep. As the storm crosses the Atlantic, it finds new fuel, the sharp temperature contrast between Arctic and mid-Atlantic air. This baroclinic energy lets the storm re-intensify, not as a hurricane, but as a powerful mid-latitude system. Its central pressure drops, winds surge, and it grows even larger than before. The jet stream's support deepens the storm, fanning its renewed strength. Now a hybrid, it carries tropical moisture but is powered by European dynamics. This potent mix makes it a force to be reckoned with. By the time it reaches the UK, it's a fully re-energized Atlantic storm. It brings both the moisture of the tropics and the winds of a European winter. The stage is set for extreme weather in Britain. The autumn of 2025 saw two storms, Marco and Paloma, follow this transatlantic path. Marco formed in the Gulf, struck Florida, then was swept by the jet stream across the Atlantic, still loaded with tropical moisture. Paloma, born near the Bahamas, curved past Florida, drew energy from the Gulf Stream, and merged with another system over the North Atlantic. Both storms underwent rapid transformation, re-intensifying as they neared Europe. Satellite data tracked their every move, showing how they rode the jet stream like surfers. For meteorologists, it was a masterclass in atmospheric physics. For the UK, it was a disaster in the making. The arrival of these two powerful, moisture-laden systems in quick succession turned a wet autumn into a season of unprecedented floods. The storm's journey from tropical birth to European rebirth was complete. Britain was about to face the consequences. Storm Marco hit southwest England first, bringing relentless rain and fierce winds. This was no ordinary autumn shower. It was tropical moisture unleashed. Dartmoor and Exmoor saw over 150 millimetres of rain in 24 hours, more than a month's worth in a day. Rivers like the Exe and Tamar became raging torrents, bursting their banks and flooding fields and villages. Roads vanished underwater, isolating communities. Emergency services scrambled to rescue stranded residents and livestock. The economic toll was immediate. Crops lost, animals displaced, and rural life upended. For the southwest, it was a weekend of anxiety and loss. The storm's water had travelled from Florida's heat to England's hills. Marco was only the first blow. The worst was yet to come. Before the southwest could recover, Storm Paloma struck the Midlands. Its rain was even more intense, falling on already saturated ground. Rivers like the Severn and Trent surged to historic levels, overwhelming defences and flooding towns. Fields disappeared underwater, and the floodwaters lingered for weeks. The agricultural disaster was immense. Crops lost, livestock stranded, and fertile land ruined. Major transport links were cut, and thousands were forced to evacuate. The Midlands became an inland sea, the result of storms born thousands of miles away. The combined impact of Marco and Paloma exposed the UK's vulnerability. Two distant hurricanes had created a national crisis. The fields of Britain drowned in rain that began in the tropics. The scale of the catastrophe was unprecedented. In the aftermath, the true cost of the floods emerged. Towns were caked in mud, homes gutted, and lives upended. Farmland sat underwater for weeks, killing crops and leaving soil lifeless. The economic blow to rural communities was staggering. Pollutants washed into rivers, threatening wildlife and water safety. Riverbanks eroded, habitats destroyed, and the landscape scarred. Recovery would take years. The environmental impact was severe. The floods were a wake-up call, revealing the global links in our climate system. Warmer Atlantic waters meant stronger, wetter storms for the UK. The events of 2025 forced a national reckoning on flood defences and climate resilience. The water that flooded Britain was a message from across the ocean. The 2025 floods are more than a story of bad weather. They reveal our planet's deep interconnections. The warmth off Florida, the spin of the Earth, and the jet stream's path can decide the fate of a British field. Understanding these links is now essential for survival in a changing world. Better forecasting gives communities time to prepare and saves lives. A warming planet means stronger, wetter hurricanes and shifting storm tracks. The floods of 2025 may be a preview of a new normal. The journey of a Florida hurricane to Britain is a story of one atmosphere, one planet. There are no boundaries in the sky. The air above us connects us all. The rain on a British farm may have started as vapor in the Gulf of Mexico. Recognizing this connection is the first step to building a resilient future.